How do you think your daily actions impact the planet's future? It's a question we must all ask ourselves. Every choice, every habit ripples outwards. We are connected to the earth and to each other. The future is in our hands. What will we choose? Will we continue down a path of unsustainable practices, or will we forge a new way forward, one that safeguards our planet for generations to come? Climate change might seem like a distant threat. You might think it's something that only affects polar bears or far-off islands. But the reality is it's much closer to home than we realize. The warming of our planet is not just a future problem, it's a present crisis, but its effects are already being felt around the world. From the devastating floods in Europe to the relentless wildfires in Australia, extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and severe. These events are not isolated incidents, they are interconnected symptoms of a planet in distress. Think about your morning coffee. That simple pleasure you enjoy every day is under threat. The coffee beans that make your favorite brew are sensitive to changes in temperature and rainfall. Did you know that rising temperatures and erratic rainfall are impacting coffee production? Farmers are struggling. In regions like Central and South America, coffee farmers are facing unprecedented challenges. The plants are withering and the yields are decreasing. This not only affects the farmers' livelihoods, but also the global coffee supply. The taste and aroma of your favorite brew are changing. As the quality of coffee beans declines, so does the flavor profile of the coffee. What was once a rich and aromatic experience is becoming more bland and inconsistent. This is just one small example of how climate change is altering our daily lives. What we consume, how we live, it all matters. The food we eat, the products we buy, and the energy we use are all interconnected with the health of our planet. Every choice we make has a ripple effect on the environment. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's an economic one, a social one, a human one. It affects our jobs, our communities, and our health. The cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of taking steps to mitigate its impact. We must act now to protect our planet and our future. The Industrial Revolution marked a turning point in human history. It brought progress and innovation, but it also came at a cost. Factories sprouted, powered by coal and oil. These fossil fuels released greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Like a blanket, these gases trap heat, gradually warming the planet. What was once a slow natural process has accelerated at an alarming rate. The evidence is undeniable. Carbon dioxide levels are the highest they've been in millions of years. The planet's temperature is rising. Glaciers are melting at an unprecedented rate, causing sea levels to rise. Extreme weather events, from hurricanes to droughts, are becoming more frequent and intense. Ecosystems are under stress. We are witnessing the consequences of our actions. Section 5. Memories at risk. A moment of reflection. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and let your mind wander back to a time when you felt truly connected to nature. Think about your favorite outdoor memory. Maybe it was a family picnic in a lush green park, or a solo hike up a mountain trail where the air was crisp and the view was breathtaking. The smell of pine needles in a forest. That earthy, fresh scent that fills your lungs and makes you feel alive. The sound of waves crashing on a beach. The rhythmic lull that soothes your soul and makes you feel at peace. The sight of a starry night sky, a vast expanse of twinkling lights that makes you ponder the mysteries of the universe. These precious moments are at risk. The places where we create these memories are changing, and not for the better. Climate change threatens the natural wonders that inspire us, the places we love, and the ecosystems that sustain life on Earth. The very air we breathe is becoming polluted, making it harder for us to enjoy the simple act of taking a deep breath. We must act now, before it's too late. Each of us has a role to play in protecting our planet, whether it's reducing our carbon footprint, supporting sustainable practices, or advocating for policy changes. Every action counts. Together we can ensure that future generations will have their own moments of reflection in a world that is just as beautiful and inspiring as the one we cherish today. Section 6. Real lives, real impacts, stories from the front lines. Climate change is not just about statistics and scientific reports. It's about real people, real lives being impacted right now. In Bangladesh, families are being displaced by rising sea levels. In California, farmers are battling drought and wildfires. These stories are a stark reminder of the human cost of climate change. We have a responsibility to listen, to empathize, and to act. Section 7: Seeds of Hope, Progress and Innovation. Despite the challenges, there is hope. Around the world, we are seeing incredible progress in renewable energy. Solar and wind power are becoming more affordable and accessible. Countries are phasing out coal-fired power plants. Young people are leading the charge, demanding action on climate change. They are the future, and they are fighting for their right to a healthy planet. Section 8: Your Actions Matter, Embracing Sustainable Living. Each one of us has a role to play. We can make a difference through our daily choices. Reduce your reliance on single-use plastics, support sustainable brands, walk, cycle, or take public transportation whenever possible. Save energy at home by turning off lights and unplugging electronics. Small changes, multiplied by millions, can create a powerful wave of change. Section 9: A Collective Effort, Climate Justice and a Shared Future. Climate change is a global challenge that requires a collective solution. It is not just an environmental issue, but a social, economic, and ethical one. The impacts of climate change are felt worldwide, but they are not distributed equally. Some communities, especially those in developing countries, are more vulnerable and face greater risks. These communities often lack the resources to adapt to the changing climate, making them more susceptible to its adverse effects. Therefore, addressing climate change is not just about reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their geographical location or economic status, has the means to cope with and recover from its impacts. We must work together across borders and cultures to create a more sustainable and equitable future. This means fostering international cooperation and solidarity. Governments, businesses, and individuals all have a role to play. Policies must be put in place to reduce carbon emissions, promote renewable energy, and protect natural ecosystems. At the same time, we must support those who are most affected by climate change, providing them with the resources and tools they need to build resilience. This includes investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, as well as promoting social justice and human rights. Climate justice is about ensuring that those who are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change are not left behind. It recognizes that the people who have contributed the least to the problem are often the ones who suffer the most. This is why it is crucial to address the root causes of inequality and injustice. By doing so, we can create a more just and equitable world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. This involves listening to the voices of marginalized communities and ensuring that their needs and perspectives are taken into account in decision-making processes. It's about sharing the responsibility and the benefits of a clean energy transition. Moving away from fossil fuels and towards renewable energy sources is essential for mitigating climate change. However, this transition must be fair and inclusive. It should create new opportunities for economic growth and development, particularly in communities that have been historically disadvantaged. This means investing in clean energy technologies, creating green jobs, and ensuring that everyone has access to affordable and reliable energy. By doing so, we can build a more sustainable and prosperous future for all. It's about building a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. This means creating communities that are resilient, healthy, and vibrant. It involves protecting and restoring natural ecosystems, which provide essential services such as clean air and water, food and shelter. It also means promoting sustainable practices in agriculture, forestry and fisheries, which can help to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and enhance biodiversity. By working together, we can create a world where people and nature coexist in harmony, and where future generations can enjoy a high quality of life. The story of climate change is not yet fully written. We are at a critical juncture in history, and the choices we make today will determine the future of our planet. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the resources to address climate change, but we must act with urgency and determination. This means making bold and ambitious commitments to reduce carbon emissions, protect natural ecosystems, and support vulnerable communities. It also means holding ourselves and our leaders accountable for taking meaningful action. We have the power to change the ending. Each of us has a role to play in creating a more sustainable and equitable future. Whether it's through our choices as consumers, our actions as citizens, or our influence as leaders, we can make a difference. By working together, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and where the impacts of climate change are minimized. This requires courage, compassion, and unwavering hope. It means standing up for what is right even when it is difficult and never giving up on our vision of a better future. Let us choose to rewrite it together with courage, compassion, and unwavering hope. The challenges we face are immense, but so are the opportunities. By coming together and working towards a common goal, we can create a world that is more just, equitable, and sustainable. This is not just a moral imperative, but a practical necessity. The time for action is now, and the stakes could not be higher. Our planet is counting on us, and we cannot afford to fail. Let us rise to the challenge and create a future that we can all be proud of. The time for action is now. We cannot afford to wait any longer. The impacts of climate change are already being felt around the world, and they will only get worse if we do not take immediate and decisive action. This means reducing our carbon emissions, protecting natural ecosystems, and supporting vulnerable communities. It also means making changes in our own lives, such as reducing our energy consumption, using public transportation, and supporting sustainable businesses. By taking these steps, we can help to create a more sustainable and equitable future for all. Our planet is counting on us. The future is in our hands, and it is up to us to make the right choices. By working together and taking bold and ambitious action, we can create a world that is more just, equitable, and sustainable. This is not just a dream, but a possibility. Let us seize this opportunity and create a future that we can all be proud of. The time for action is now, and the stakes could not be higher. Our planet is counting on us, and we cannot afford to fail. Let us rise to the challenge and create a future that we can all be proud of.